evening, everybody. I'd like to call the July 17th, 2025 Greensboro Town Council meeting to order, please. If you would you rise and salute the flag? Where you go?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They moved it on me. Can you all hear me back there? I'm trying to get as close to this mic as I can. So before we move into the approval of the minutes for the last meeting, I would like to...
Would you like me to pray first?
Pray! Please. I can't even get past one of them mess, so please back aside. Would you please pray for us?
Holy and gracious God, thank you for this day, and Lord, we thank you for bringing us all together here in this place this evening. Fill it with your Holy Spirit. Guide us and direct us as reports are given, as comments are made, questions are asked, and may we just continue to focus on you each and every day. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I'm just so excited because usually when we have a closed session, we come back into open session after everybody has left and talk about what we said, and our attorney wisely told us we probably shouldn't be doing that and we should be doing at the next meeting. So that's what I was looking forward to. So after the last meeting, we did hold a closed session from 6:55 to 7:53 to discuss personnel matters and obtain legal advice, and no final decisions were made. So now I will look for the council to review the minutes from our last meeting in June the 5th in particular, and look for approval of those minutes for additions or corrections if needed.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 15th, 2025.
June 5th.
June 5th.
All right, thank you. We have a motion to approve the minutes from June the 5th. Do I have a second?
Second.
Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Okay, at this time, I would like to open a public hearing on ordinance 2025-0-5, an ordinance of the Mayor and Council of Greensboro to amend Article 1, Section 3 of the Greensboro Land and Development Ordinance titled Definitions, and to repeal and replace Article 1, Section 17 titled Critical Area Overlay District to comply with recent legislation. Does anybody here want to comment on that ordinance? Lindsay, do you want to give them a brief synopsis of what it is?
Sure. So under the critical area law, which you are required to adopt, there's supposed to be a 10-year review to update your critical area ordinance. Luckily, this year, there was a staff member at the Critical Area Commission through, I believe, a grant that was able to assist local municipalities with updating their critical area ordinances. And so you all worked with that individual from the Critical Area Commission to make the necessary amendments to comply with the Natural Resources article, and have made those amendments by this ordinance. So you all introduced it. It went to the Planning Commission for recommendation. It is here this evening for public hearing and later consideration for adoption. If you adopt it, it then has to go to the Critical Area Commission for their review and approval.
All right, thank you. So having heard that, does anybody here wish to speak? If not, I'll go ahead and leave the public hearing open for a little bit longer. We'll go ahead and move on with the agenda and come back to it later.
Can we touch on the additions that were added? Or
Additions
suggest-
added to what?
During the planning and zoning meeting on Tuesday, there were additions, that were made to it, I think, and,
So I didn't attend that meeting. I was not aware of any additions made
Okay.
within their recommendations.
there were
made.
options, I guess is a better way to say it. There were options that could be adopted or omitted.
Okay, related to, so there was one area that you all discussed with, permitting structures on piers, like
Mhm.
waterfront restaurants. Did the planning commission
That was part of it,
want
yeah.
that or not want that?
They wanted it.
Okay,
So like the
Solar panels also. being
solar
put on
panels,
on
windmills.
piers, it's for windmills.
They weren't the big windmills, they were
Right.
5 or 6 feet.
Okay, and all that is in this
Correct.
document?
Yes.
So we have an up-to-date document, that is what I'm hearing you say.
Yes, so it includes the non-water dependent structures on piers, which is an optional, and then the solar panel.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any other comment? No? Okay. So we'll go to department reports now. Town manager, Cindy?
Can you hear me? Wonderful. So I have to state my name just because. Do you hear me? Can you hear me now? Close? Okay, can you hear me? Okay. So with the new town streaming system we have, if you state your name, it'll recognize you over a period of time. So right now it'll label me as like guest 3, but then we go in, we update the names, and then it'll pick you up by voice recognition. So it's pretty unique. So for me, for the town manager, the first thing on my list was auditing all contracts and invoicing. This allows me to go through and see if we've got any outdated contracts that we're working off of, or if we need to update those and get additional vendors to come in and price things out. It also allows me to look to see if we are paying for something that we don't need. And I've actually come across several things that we have that we've ended up canceling subscriptions for. They would include streaming, actually scanning into the cloud when we already are in the cloud. So that was running us about $174 a month. We were able to cancel that because we are already in Microsoft 365. So we can scan into our own cloud, which makes a lot more sense. There was also numerous things like the phone bill that we looked at, and we were able to cut down on some cell phone bills, iPads, access. We had some plants that were set up with the alarm systems that had star 69, call waiting, call forwarding, and such. So we were able to cut all of those out as well. And working with Brandon to get that straight, and of course Brandon picked up that we were paying sales tax on that. So we were able to get that through. So it's allowing me to go through and look at each individual invoice and contract so that we can do a better job in streamlining what we're spending and how we're spending. For the update on the audit for 2023, we are really, really close. As soon as I got here, we met with the new accounting firm that we've got and also the auditors, along with MCSJ, our accounting software. And we finally figured out that when the system was set up, it was set up incorrectly. So a lot of our bank accounts weren't set up correctly. So of course the information was wrong. So what we've had to do is go in and do a lot of journal entries, which the account has been doing. We've provided them with all the documents they've requested. And I'm hoping to have another meeting with them tomorrow to get an update on when we can finalize that. Now that we know where the problem is, though, hopefully moving on to 2024, we can identify, if there's any issues with that and get that done so that we can be on track to do 2025 on October 31st when it's due. For PIAs, we've had 3 requests so far. 2 have been completed. I still am working on another one. If you haven't noticed, we have done some reorganization in the office. We've moved some staff around and made it a little bit easier for them to have their own desk and personal area to work. As I stated before, we have this town hall streaming, which I want to ask the mayor and council. This has the option of uploading all of the documents that we are viewing tonight onto the streaming service. So if the residents wanted to go out and download those documents, they can. So if it's okay and you approve that, then we can start doing that.
Well, I think that some of these documents are quite thick. It doesn't make good financial sense for us to print all these out. If they so want them, that they can go online and get copies or review them right online. It makes perfect sense to me. They get immediate access. They don't have to disrupt the staff to take the time out to respond to these PIA requests, and it doesn't cost the town any money to print it. So Sounds like a perfect solution to me.
So, you know, when the meeting's over, I'll go in and upload all of these documents, and it should be available for you to be able to go out there, tomorrow morning and pull them all. And like I said, it's just gonna be us being more transparent and sharing the documents. Moving forward, they will be on, when the meeting is set, so you should be able to go out there and see these documents before the meeting starts.
And I wanna chime in, moving forward, this is all new stuff. So if you have a problem with something, instead of posting it on, say, social media, can you please just give us a call and reach out and give us the opportunity to fix it for you first?
Thank you. Yeah, we did have a little glitch
Yeah.
with the audio. We did test it, it worked fine. But the wiring for audio is so fragile, and it ended up going up, and we just had to replace that line for it to work, so. But we're good to go for tonight. Let's see, we did hold an election voter registration day on June 25th per the charter. We had 5 people show up, so even though we didn't have that many, it was still good for people just to know we were here if they wanted to check their registration. It is also available on the state Board of Election that you can go out there and check to see if you're registered. That, of course, lets you vote in all elections. But if you just wanted to vote in Greensboro, then you can come in and check with us, and we can always register you anytime that we're open. I did want to state that we've received 2 grants. One is from DNR, and it's for Sutton Park. It's for $250,000. And then we got the State of Maryland Critical Area Commission for a critical area program, and that grant was for $1,000. Oh, okay, he just reminded me, we got another grant for the boat ramp. Was that through DNR? And it's for $75,000. So that's another good plus.
And that's to fix the road down there?
Yes.
Didn't bother to down there, it's pretty rough.
Moving to the police report. Right now, they have 19 open investigations. 2 of those, of course, are for the Zoom investigation, which is still ongoing. And also the Verizon wireless investigation is still ongoing. I know the chief's been working with other police departments to see, we've been told that it didn't just affect us, it affected other towns. So they're trying to work together to see if they can come up with, you know, who did it. So we're still working on that. The red speed camera, I'm sure you've noticed that it's not up and operational yet. It has been installed. We have had a little hiccup with Delmarva Power coming in to hook that up. I did have a conversation with them this morning, and they're going to follow up with me tomorrow to let me know where we stand in line of getting that hooked up. So more to come, and we will post that as soon as we get that hooked up. Let's see. And then for the state, or for the police department, they got a State of Maryland body armor grant in the amount of $1,035. They also got the Maryland Crime Prevention SAP grant for $30,649. And that's thanks to Tammy Coey for doing that. We are currently recruiting for another police officer. That advertisement has been going on now for about 2 weeks. We have had a couple interviews, but we're still looking to interview more. Public Works has been very busy. Not only have they maintained the parks, cutting grass, brush pickup, and filling potholes, they cleaned storm drains out, they cleaned up trees and brush from storm damage. There was a fiber optic line that ran through the sewer main on Cedar Lane. That was back in 2007, but it just reared itself right recently. It caused issues with some resident sewer. I know the Public Works worked with a contractor for about a week and the staff to fix the pipe and clean out the sand and debris out of the sewer mains. So if you remember, we had closed down that road for a while, and that was why. Storms have caused a lot of over voltage problems at the east lift station, and currently they're looking at options to avoid this. An old washout plant, or waste plant, I'm sorry, went out due to overheating, and they are currently looking for a repair quote on that. They were called out for no water pressure throughout the town. It was found to be an electrical issue. And I just want to give thanks for Kenny and to Brandon. They were out from 9:30 at night until 2:30 in the morning working on that. I do know that we contacted Delmarva Power, but I think it was like a 3 or 4 hour delay because of all the outages that they had. We met with the USG, which is the meter program contract that we have. We've had some issues with that, but hopefully we've come up with a mutual solution, so we're due to meet with them again next week. So hopefully we've got more to come with that. UV bulbs were cleaned at the wastewater plant, and they're working on inventory. They ran wiring and camera for the new streaming system here in the meeting room. They built a wall upstairs for the police department, and that's so that we could be compliant. We met with Jordan and George from Susquehanna in reference to the contract review, and met with, we have a new operator named Todd, sorry. So we're looking at some options there. Building maintenance and repairs, they found a condensation pump leaking, water in the basement. They installed a new pump and also a dehumidifier. And that condensation also caused the food pantry to blow its fuses for the air conditioning. So those all had to be replaced. They met with Southern Corrosion about tank maintenance on the water towers. So we're still awaiting some quotes there. We've had work truck issues and work repair issues on some of our trucks, so we're looking at some options on what we can do with a couple of trucks that we're having some problems with. One retrofit in the Goldsboro 531 Old Town Road, and then they had 2 call-outs for, both of those call-outs were due to wipes clogging up the pumps. And we also did post something on Facebook about that, so watching what you're flushing. And then they've met with State Highway about the sinkhole at 506 North Main Street. Of course, that is not in town, but we did jump in to try to help and assist them on trying to find out who owns that property back there. And that's all I have.
Well, that's quite the list, sir. Thank you very much. And for the record, I neglected to say, but I should, the Commissioner Noon is under the weather tonight and can't be here in person, but he is listening live, and we have him on the phone back here, so if he needs to vote, he'll be able to vote on anything that requires a vote tonight. So I just want to put that on the record. So, Town Attorney.
Yes, first update is the appeal of the Hello Greensboro. The hearing has been scheduled August 5th at 9:30. They filed their memorandum in support of their petition, and the town has until July 27th to respond. So I'm working on that response, and I will send it when it's drafted. In addition, I know that there's been some recent issues with grass and notice for when the town can go onto a property and cut the grass. And so I drafted an ordinance updating your chapter 11 to include, originally it only included littering, and I updated it to include control of weeds, grass, and littering. And within this ordinance, it would provide that if grass is not maintained, and here I have 6 inches because that's within property maintenance, but I understand it's actually 10 when you're enforcing, so we can amend that. That if the owner fails to comply with the section, the town has to give due notice, and if after 3 days of giving that due notice, the grass is not cut, the town can go on and cut the grass, and then send a fine, and if the amount isn't paid, establish a lien against the property.
So you're saying, we have this listed later in the agenda. Would you like to wait and discuss that further down where you see the code fees violation? That's what we're talking about, the grass. So we want to just hold off till then?
That's fine.
You have anything else for us then?
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Anybody else have anything for Lindsay? All right, so ordinance 2025-0-4. I'd like to open a public hearing on that at this time. It's an ordinance of the town of Greensboro to amend section 10.20 of the Greensboro Land and Development Ordinance to establish reasonable zoning regulations for utility facilities. Would you like to give them a briefing on that as well, Lindsay, please?
Sure, we gave an overview at your last meeting when you introduced this, but what this ordinance does is removes public utility facilities and private utility facilities, which include, any system that generates energy from renewable energy resources, including solar, hydro, wind, biofuel, wood, geothermal, or similar sources. Previously, those uses were permitted by special exception in all zoning districts. What this ordinance does, it removes, those uses by special exception in any use that is residential.
Okay. All right, is there anybody here from the public that would, I know you have discussed this before and brought up your concern, but this is your opportunity to speak again one last time before we vote on it, if you'd like to speak in favor or of opposition of the ordinance.
So, could you go into, like, just explain what it means a little, like you said, removing any, is it electric only? Is that pretty much?
These are like large scale renewable energy projects. And right now, these larger scale renewable energy projects like a solar field or a wind, power field are permitted by special exception in all of Greensboro's residentially zoned districts. This removes special exception, so they will not be permitted in any residentially zoned district.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, any other comments?
In favor of the ordinance.
All right, hearing no further comments, I will close the public hearing on 2025-0-4, and we look for the council for approval. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve this ordinance?
I will make the motion to approve ordinance number 2025-04.
We have a motion to approve ordinance 2025-04, which I read in full just a minute ago. I'm looking for a second.
I'll second.
All right, then I'll look for approval. And Cindy, could you call the roll, please? Just ask them individually so we know that they voted yes or no. I've always asked Dawn to do that for them, sorry.
That's okay. Christina?
I vote yes to adopting the ordinance.
Yes to adopting the ordinance. Thank you. Joe?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Dee? Dee?
I don't get to vote unless it's a tie. So, we have a vote of 4-0, so a unanimous vote, so the motion is approved and the ordinance is approved. All right, at this time, we talked about ordinance 2025-05 earlier, and I left the public hearing open. Is there any further discussion on that? If not, then I will hereby close the public hearing on ordinance 2025-05. And we'll look for a motion from the council to approve this ordinance.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2025-0-5 ordinance.
And a second? I got a second from Pete. All in favor, Cindy, would you call the order, please?
Christina? Yay. Joe?
Yay.
Bobby?
Yay.
Pete?
All right, thank you. It's unanimous vote, so the ordinance is thereby approved, 2025-0-5. All right. So next on the agenda is the MOU with Caroline County. Would you like to come up, Colonel, and give a talk?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. So when I was here in June, we talked about the MOU and the particulars of it, particularly the potential for overage in the cost of the project beyond what the grant is for. The grant is for $2.454 million. And that's a valid question. If the project were to go over that budget, then the town, by this MOU, would be responsible for whatever the difference, the overage is in finding that financing. Whether you all wanted to do it on your own or seek assistance from an MDE grants and loans, it would be the town's responsibility to do that. and I think that was the only question that you all had at the time.
Yep.
Just for those in the, public that are here tonight that may not have been here when you spoke, but can you just give them a brief update on what it is essentially we're trying to do about
Sure.
removing the old plant to
Yes.
protect the environment?
So, back in 2023, seems like a million years ago, there was a series of storms that was in the spring, and I think it was a 5-inch rainfall in less than 12 hours. And it washed out the little stream that runs by the main pump station, the town's main pump station, where the old wastewater treatment plant used to be. Eroded feet, lost several feet of stream bank, so that now the main pump station is sitting 5 or 6 feet from the top of that stream. And our concern was that another storm like that, or a hurricane with a storm surge and a heavy and heavy rain, would take the stream bank out and the main pump station could fall into the stream, which would be horrible. So we got some money from MDE to kind of shore up and do a temporary gabion wall with stone, to hold it in place and put some core logs on the land side to try and slow down and break up that runoff coming from above. And then started looking for funding and kind of stumbled into the OSG grant through MDE. It was a grant that had only been started, I think it was maybe 3 or 4 years old, and as luck would have it, they had not funded it for 2 funding cycles, so they had 2 funding cycles worth of money. Normally it's a little over $1 million, but they had 2.454 million. So we took this project to them, they took it to EPA, who provides the funding. EPA said it sounds like a good project, so we formally submitted the application in May of last year, and then midsummer we heard back that it had been approved for funding. So we got the notice of award from EPA late summer, early fall, and now EPA and MDE are working on the grant agreement with the county. At the time, the town was a little overrun with stuff and wasn't sure you guys would be able to handle the administration of a federal and state grant, which this is. So the county, rather than let that money go, offered to step in and do the administration of the grant and do the reporting on the grant. But every step of the project, from design all the way through construction, the engineer who will be ultimately hired for the project and construction firms will be working with the town. Nothing will be done that the town doesn't approve. We don't have that authority. We're just managing the grant and trying to keep it all on track. So one of the things that EPA and MDE required for the grant was that the county and the town draw up an MOU to establish what we're responsible for and what y'all are responsible for. And that's what this MOU is.
All right, so as I understand it, from talking to you a little bit earlier tonight, you're not looking for us to sign this tonight, just get a general consensus of your approval?
You don't have to if you don't want to. I still don't have a grant agreement from MDE. It's up at EPA being reviewed, and they can't tell me when I'll get it. They're hoping within the next month or two. So we don't plan to do anything until we have a signed grant agreement, including execute this MOU. So if you all want to sign it, so it's ready to go when we get I know we're going to get the MOU, it's just when. That's great, and then the commissioners would sign it, and it would be executed and sent up to EPA and MDE. So if you want to go ahead and sign it tonight, that's fine. If you want to wait till we get the signed MOU and sign it then, that's fine too.
I'd much rather wait. That's my opinion.
Nothing's gonna change. She's gonna come back in 3 months and say she got her MOU, and we're gonna have the same discussion. So I think everybody should just move forward now.
You could also approve it conditioned upon them receiving the MOU, so that it doesn't have to come back in front of you.
I like that.
But-
That's fine.
And there may actually be something in it that says this MOU is nothing if we don't get the funding.
It does say that.
Yeah,
Not quite
so there is,
confirmed.
right.
It
All right,
disappears.
so what I heard from Keith, you wanna make an amendment to your
Okay,
motion?
I'll make the amendment to, that we approve the MOU and contingent on the county getting their MOU.
second?
I'll second it.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the MOU as stated by Commissioner Berea. So you guys can deliver.
Christina,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes, go ahead.
is that a yes?
No, I heard, I didn't hear it, you're all breaking up.
It's in reference to the MOU for the Caroline County administrator of the grant that we're getting?
Correct, I heard there was a motion, was there a second?
Yes, I second.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes. All right, so we have 4,000 votes for approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. I'll keep you posted.
All right, thank you.
All right, moving on. New business. The Alta CPA group. Cindy, would you like to address the council for that, please?
So in the discussion that we've had dealing with Alta CPA Group, who is the accounting firm that we're working with on the audit for 2023, 2024, once we figured out what the problem we were having with MCSJ and the accounting that needed to be done, there was a professional service contract that was issued to us for additional monies to get this done because of the additional work it was going to take to get all of the journal entries completed. This is for $20,000 for each year, so it's going to be $20,000 for 2023, and it'll be $20,000 for 2024 to get these audits done. So it's a total of $40,000 that we need to approve for this contract to get this work done. I will say that I went back in and looked through the sale of the previous town hall. It was listed for $165. We made $156,501 from that. We used a portion of that money to go to the sinkhole that we had. Once I went in and took a look and physically looked at the receipts of the sinkhole, and we have a balance left over of $58,439.53. So I would like to take that $40,000 out of this to be able to pay the accountant to get the work done for these audits.
So what I would like to say, I'm very proud of you and the staff, and the gentleman who's been helping us, the CPA. In the last 3 months, we've been able to accomplish what we couldn't accomplish in the last 2.5 years. And I'm sad to have to say that, but it's a fact. And for the 3 months that we had an acting town manager, I was in there most every day. Not that I'm patting myself on the back, I'm retired, got nothing else to do. But she worked hard at it, and we were able to reach out to a gentleman who was recommended to us, who has helped other communities with these types of issues, and has been a godsend to us. And so I only hope and pray that the council will approve this so that we can put these behind us and move forward in the future. So.
Does anybody have any questions? I know I filtered a lot of information to you all about this.
No, and that's fine, and I understand, we got the money dug up, but what's it gonna cost us if we keep him? Is it gonna be at $20,000 each year, or do we have to budget for?
So no. So this is just cleaning up 2023 and 2024.
Right.
We realized what the issue was with MCSJ, and we've been working with MCSJ and with Todd, the accounting, and having these weekly meetings, we've been able to take a look at it. We literally do a virtual meeting, and we log into the system with MCSJ, and this is how we're able to find the problems that we're seeing that need to be fixed. So they've got to go in for the full year and make all these adjustments, and they have been going in and doing them. So the same thing's going to have to happen for 2024. And then we're hoping that by the time they do all of this, we went in and fixed the problem as soon as we figured out what it was for the 2025. So we're hoping that there's not gonna be a whole lot left to do to fix the 2025. But this is to get us through 24 and 23 and 24.
That's fine, no, I just wanna make sure, cause I mean, we're spending 40,000, but if we get fined, it's gonna be a lot more than $40,000.
Well, the other side of that is that I have been in contact with the Department of Legislative Services. I did forward you an email where, because I have been reaching out to them on a weekly basis, keeping them up to date where we are, they agreed not to fine us or withhold any fundings from us. So, I think by us doing that and at least staying in contact with them, it tells them that, you know, we're making headway on this.
I appreciate that.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, thank you.
So, would somebody like to make a motion to approve a request to take the $40,000 out of the sale of our old town hall and what's left after we pay for sinkhole to apply towards, the agreement we have here with the Alta CPA group?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Bettina?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
All right, we have it unanimous and it's approved. All right, the next on the list is the DRRA, with Kinman Meadows. You look at me like you want me to do it. I gotta sign this first, I don't need it. I got them on mine, too. Hopefully. Okay. So I asked to have this put on the agenda for discussion, and I know I had reached out to Lindsay a little bit, and individually I've talked to a couple of the commissioners. So when Kinman Meadows started building out the houses, and they were coming in to get building permits, there was a price that we had to charge for them to get the building permits and water and sewer and all those things that needed to be done. And there was an agreement way back in the day when this development was started and what they would pay. And part of it was they were going to pay $3,000 for water and sewer connections. And apparently they paid the $3,000 for those water 125. Is that right, Lindsay?
They paid, $3,500 for 125, so they paid $437,500 in 2012, I believe is the.
For those 125
Yes.
houses. And so when they came back and wanted to start building the houses, I think that the council was trying to do the right thing by honoring an agreement that had been made by our forefathers and charging them the amount that was on that agreement. Since that time, we have heard many complaints from the citizens concerned that, is that fair to the people today? If I come in today to build a house on a lot and I have to pay X amount of dollars and it's more, how's that fair? I just wanted to bring it back up for the council. Cindy, where are the numbers that we had? You have them? No, I mean, we had the one where we figured it out. I got 2 minutes.
So, are you looking at the difference between?
It's like $4,000.
Yeah, so, under the development agreement, this particular development is required to pay the building permit fee, which everyone else is required to pay for. But what they pay specific, because of the development agreement, is an open space fee in lieu for building permit, which is $2,227.73, and a nutrient reduction fee, because at the time you entered into the agreement, you had your old wastewater treatment plant, and so part of that was to go to chemicals, bay restoration, of $4,500. So while they are not paying the current water and sewer rates for those 125, and they paid that $3,500 rate, they are paying approximately $7,200 more in those other fees.
I understand that, and.
I just wanted the
but-
public to
Yes,
know, yeah.
but there are $4,297.27 less than what the average person coming in to get a permit today is paying. When you look it all down,
Yeah.
so